So you're thinking about relocating to Tampa, Florida. In this video, I'll share some helpful information with you. I'll go through the good, bad, and ugly of moving to Tampa, Florida. We're going to go over the top 5 advantages and disadvantages of living in Tampa, Florida. Is that there are so many things to do in Tampa, which is one of the reasons I could never picture myself living there. Getting away from this, there are many things to do here, from standard tourist attractions to local secrets, and we'll touch on a few of them. Both now and after you've settled down and lived here for a while, you'll see that no matter what hobbies you have, Tampa has something for you. Tampa hosts a variety of cultural events that draw visitors from all over the world. The largest of them, by far, is the Gasparilla Pirate Festival, which may be found here. A little background information for you: it was named after the 18th and 19th century pirate Jose Gaspar, who ravaged the West Florida coast. The pirate invasion, which involves hundreds of boats arriving in the bay and turning into a big procession, is the primary event. There were almost 1 million people in attendance, and there were so many people in one place that cell phones were practically turned off. Begin working half-time every year. It astounds me to see all the boats following the pirate ship around the harbor while pirates attempt to take over. The town, it's a city-wide bash with guns and cannons blazing and floats blasting out music a la Mardi Gras. But this isn't Mardi Gras. Is a family parade where everyone dresses up like pirates and gathers very early in the morning to begin celebrating its birthday. An all-day affair, and if you manage to stay late into the evening, the party will undoubtedly continue and won't end until the morning sunrise. We might have a festival or celebration of some form just about every weekend in our lively city, and we celebrate everything from blueberries to strawberries to cigars to margaritas. The Cuban Sandwich Festival is a must-see event in the area. A Tampa institution, yes, you guessed correctly. Sandwich from Cuba: ham, mojo cooked pork salami, a few pickles, and mayonnaise are stacked on a Cuban sandwich. All of this is placed between buttered pressed Cuban bread that is supposed to have originated in Tampa's famous Ybor City. The Cuban sandwich, which is now pronounced Eber City rather than Ybor City, is claimed to reflect the bulk of the immigrants who founded Tampa. The ham represents the Spanish, the Cuban obviously, the mojo pork, and the Genoa salami being Italian. It's a lovely combination. For foodies, this combination can be used in a variety of ways. Tampa has it all, from food trucks to fancy dining. But I have to tell you about my favorite Tampa restaurant. A steakhouse has caught fire. It's more than just a meal, it's an experience. I've made reservations for 7 o'clock when you walk in. It's a throwback to the period with the decor and dim lighting. And to be honest, the waiter is almost always there to greet you. Make it a night and didn't leave until close to 1 a.m. Make a reservation for a tour of the restaurant, which will include a stroll through the kitchen, which is open on any given night. I don't remember exactly how many people work there, but it's an insane quantity. Also, the wine cellar is incredible. You may snap a photo in there with over 600,000 bottles of wine, and you can end your night with a visit to the upstairs dessert room, which is set up like a dessert buffet. Any dessert is excellent, but try the Burns' famous dessert, which is set up like an old-fashioned speakeasy with a private piano player taking orders. Ice cream with macadamia nuts, there's nothing like it, and like I mentioned, it's an experience. Here's a hidden local tip. Practically every year, there will be a weekend where you can knock out a bunch of people. I like to call it the Tampa Triple Header because it includes a lightning game, race, and a Bucks or us college football game on the same weekend. Every year, we touch on a few touristy activities. Roller coasters at Busch Gardens, the Tampa Zoo, mostly the aquarium, or the Museum of Science and Technology. Here are just a few of the numerous theme parks or attractions to visit here. My family has zoo passes, which let us to attend all year. You can spend all day at the zoo, but sometimes we grab the kids and go to the aquarium or a kids museum, like the Kids Glacier Museum, etc. You can spend all day at the zoo, but occasionally we grab the kids and go to the aquarium or a kids museum like the Kids Glacier Museum, etc. We went in for a quick visit to view the tiger, elephants, and parrot soar over. We stayed for about an hour and then left. It's a good change of pace and a fast trip for the kids. There's a thriving restaurant and bar culture / nighttime scene here with far too many to list, but the entire city is basically covered. With a plethora of fantastic possibilities, the outdoor options are now last on the list. Apart from the Caribbean, our various beaches are hands down at the top of the list. list. We get afternoon rain periodically in the summer, and that's the greatest time to hurry up to the room and watch the brief storm roll by. Aside from your various beaches, it's normally an hour or two in from the balcony, and then we're back to sunshine. Hillsborough State Park, for example, provides hiking and bike trails. You can go paddle boarding, kayaking, or jump on a boat and go island hopping in the bay at River State Park or historic Fort DeSoto. Freshwater and saltwater fishing, you may go for a walk along Tampa's new river walk and enjoy the cafes and amazing views of the river in downtown. One of the few crystal lagoons in the United States. It's a 7.5 acre pool with crystal pure blue water and a 50-foot water slide right here in Tampa. Kayaking, stand-up paddle boarding, beach toys, and lawn games are all available, as well as private cabanas and access to a swim-up bar. Another alternative is to travel a little further north to the Ocala National Forest and cool off by floating down one of Florida's natural springs. Florida also has fantastic camping, which we'll discuss in detail in Pro number 4. If you enjoy golf, there are over 50 courses within a 20-minute drive, miles of Tampa, and they're now available year-round if you're planning on doing some of the outdoor activities. There's one thing you must do. Concerned about, which takes us to the first disadvantage: pollen. Pollen is a yellowish dust that is produced by plants, flowers, and trees. During certain seasons, you should cover everything because it can mess with your senses. The good news is that you can typically deal with it on your own. It doesn't impact everyone with over-the-counter medications like Claritin or a simple nose spray, but it's a part of living in a tropical climate. Fortunately, this is a seasonal phenomenon, which leads us to the next topic we'll talk about, and that is the second benefit. The second advantage is the weather. The weather in Tampa is ideal, with mild winters. Imagine walking around town in a short-sleeve shirt in November and December, or enjoying a bike ride around town in the spring and fall. It sure beats shoveling snow. Temperatures only drop into the 40s a few times a year, while temperatures in the 30s are only seen a few days a year. You can utilize a pool 9 to 10 months of the year, and you'll feel like you're on vacation for the majority of the year. Don't be fooled by this pro. Our second drawback is the weather. If you're not from Florida, it may take some time to adjust to the summers. People claim that the humidity in Florida is so high that the air sweats. I mean, between June and September, the humidity is approximately 70% to 80%, and the air is sweating. The heat is easily into the 90s, but that's fine. Just wear light, apply sunscreen, and enjoy the pool. Now, let's move on to pro number 3. The populous Tampa is a cultural melting pot that is as diverse as it gets, with immigrants from Spain, Italy, and Cuba at its origins. There's also a little bit of Germany in there. Tampa is a vibrant metropolis with a small-town vibe. If you live here long enough and get involved in the community, you'll find it to be a wonderful place to live. In Tampa, there are connections and partnerships for everything from social gatherings to sporting meetups to religion groups. You'll find it simple to meet people because many people aren't from around here, and those who are kind and happy to help. To assist now, because there are so many people flocking here, the infrastructure is continuously under construction, which leads to con number 3. While traffic in Tampa is not as terrible as in other cities, it is difficult for the city to keep up with growth, and traffic may be particularly problematic around rush hour. During rush hour, we don't have decent public transit, so you'll need a car. We have an Eber City streetcar, Ubers almost everywhere, and recently we have water taxis, which are really convenient. It's cool, but you'll need a car to get around. Once you've figured out the traffic patterns, you can avoid heavy traffic by taking back roads. Other than that, Tampa is really easy to travel, and it's also relatively easy to get into our interstates. I-75 and I-4, and I'm only going out for the day, gets us to the fourth pro. The fourth advantage is that Tampa, in my opinion, is a fantastic Florida hub. Tampa is perfectly situated. We're right in the middle of everything. We were at the state center, which allowed us to tour other adjacent cities. It's roughly an hour's drive to Orlando, where you can visit Disney World and other amusement parks. For camping, go to the Ocala National Forest and visit one of the many crystal clear springs that we discussed earlier in the film. I would also personally recommend going to the Ocala National Forest. You could drive to the West Coast in a day by visiting Oscar Cervera Park in Venice Beach or Fort Clinch, which is north of Jacksonville. It takes about 3 hours to view a shuttle launch at the Kennedy Space Center, which is very impressive. I also enjoy visiting St. Augustine, Florida, which is home to the Fountain of Youth. While it's more than a day excursion, you may enjoy youth and a lot of history while walking through the brick streets of the ancient city. Head south to Miami Beach, or head to Key West for a more laid-back Margaritaville vibe. Here's an insider tip. To get to Key West a little faster, you may drive only 2 hours from Tampa to Fort Myers. Take the Key West Express, a ferry that takes you to Key West in little over an hour. After 3.5 hours, every pro now comes with a con number 4, which is all about our bugs. We have mosquitoes, roaches, palmetto bugs, and the like in Tampa because of the rain. Seasonal love bugs are both unpleasant and harmless. Mosquitoes bite, roaches are disgusting, and love bugs can damage your car's paint if you don't wash them off. So how do Floridians cope with so many bugs? It's as simple as that: bug spray, screened in patios, and pest management. The love bugs are only here for a short time. After a few weeks and a few trips to the vehicle wash, it'll be clear that pro number 5 is the cost of living in Tampa, Florida. People discover that they can enjoy a better life in a city than they can in most other cities across the country. When people move here, they discover a fairly lovely lifestyle, especially whether they're from the West Coast or up north. Out that their money goes a long way in Tampa, where property taxes are hovering about 1, which is slightly more than the national average. Florida's average is lower than the national average, but it's still lower than the national average. The average home costs roughly $250,000, and there's a wide range of prices. The homeownership percentage is expected to be around 50%. When we compare the average cost of living in Tampa to that of our popular southern neighbor, Miami, we discovered that the difference is roughly $20 percentage lower to live in Tampa, Florida, which joined 6 other states in not having a state income tax, which is a big savings to people even now. Despite the fact that we do not have a state income tax, which helps to keep your money in your pocket, you must pay attention regarding home insurance and flood zones, which leads us to the 5th and last disadvantage on the list. The flood insurance table is surrounded by water. Florida is relatively flat as a whole, and I like to refer to it as a floating state if you dig deep enough. Let's call it 6 feet. You're pretty much hitting water every time, so keep that in mind. Tampa is near the coast, so there's a chance of flooding if major storms hit while this is going on. Not the norm, and I live right on the river, so I've never seen it, although many houses are classified flood-prone zones. So if you're one of those homeowners, you'll need flood insurance in addition to your homeowner's insurance. Fortunately, Florida is one of those states where flood insurance is not required. Flood insurance is now roughly $550 per year in the states with the most economical flood insurance.